Have you ever had a moment when you said something and almost immediately knew, oh man, I shouldn't have said that? Maybe it came out sharper than you intended. Maybe it escalated faster than you expected. Or maybe afterward you thought, that's not even what I meant. But in the moment, it just felt justified. It felt right. And then later, when things settled, your perspective shifted. That's something almost everyone experiences. And it comes down to something simple. When emotions goes up, clarity goes down. Hello and welcome to Thrive Within. I am your host, Marc, a life coach, educator, and someone who's passionate about helping you live more fully, honestly, and aligned with who you really are. This podcast is your space for real talk and focused coaching on things like confidence, purpose, boundaries, self-doubt, and personal growth. So whether you're all taking a break or just giving your brain a moment to breathe, I am so glad you're here. Let's get into it. In emotionally charged moments, your focus narrows. You're not thinking about the full picture. You're not thinking about long-term outcomes. You're reacting to what's happening right now. Something is said. Something is felt. And your system, it just responds quickly. You might feel tension in your chest, heat in your face, a rush of thoughts all at once. And in that moment, your goal isn't clarity. Your goal is relief. Relief from the discomfort. Relief from the pressure, relief from whatever that moment just triggered. And when emotion gets high, we're not always speaking from intention. We're speaking from reaction. We might interrupt. We may raise our voice. We may say something just to make a point land. Not because it's the best way to communicate, but because it feels like the fastest way to release what we're feeling. And afterwards, we often realize that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. It's not because you don't know how to communicate. It's because your emotion was leading the moment. And when your emotions rise, something else happens quietly. Your ability to think clearly, it starts to decrease. You're not weighing options the same way. You're not interpreting the other person accurately. You're not seeing the situation from multiple angles. You're focused on what you feel, what you think it means, and how you want to respond. That's it. And that's why misunderstandings happen so easily in those moments. Because both people are reacting, they're not processing. Think about a conversation where things escalated quickly. It probably didn't start that way. Something small was said. Something got interpreted a certain way, and then it built. One comment led to another. The tone shifted. The energy changed. And before you know it, you're no longer having a conversation. You're reacting to each other. And afterwards, when everything calmed down, you could see it more clearly. You might have even thought, oh man, that didn't have to go that way. And this is where things begin to shift. Not by eliminating emotion, but by recognizing it. The moment you notice that I'm getting activated right now, that's your opening. That's the space. You don't have to shut the conversation down, but you can slow it down. You can take a breath. You can pause for just a second, and you can choose not to react immediately. And in that small pause, something can change the direction of what happens next. When you start becoming aware of this in real time, you'll notice it in your body first. That same tightness, that pressure, that sense of something is building. Your thoughts might speed up. You might feel the urge to jump in, to correct, to defend, to explain. That's the moment most people lose clarity. Not because they don't know it better. It's because they don't pause long enough to access it. So, what you do when you feel that happening, you don't ignore it, but you don't let it take over either. You acknowledge it. Even something as simple as, let me take a second. That creates space. Space for your thoughts to catch up. Space for your body to settle. Space for you to respond instead of react. And over time, this becomes a skill. Not perfection, but awareness. There's something else that's important to understand about these moments. When your emotion is high, what you're saying doesn't feel wrong. It feels justified. It feels like they need to hear this. This is exactly what I mean, and I'm just being honest. And in that moment, it's hard to see outside of that perspective because your body is reinforcing it. Your thoughts are reinforcing it. Everything feels aligned in that reaction. That's why it's so easy to double down, to keep going, and to push the point even further. And it's only later, when things calm down, that clarity begins to return. That's when you can see, oh man, maybe that wasn't the best way to handle it. Not because what you felt was wrong, but because how it came out wasn't aligned with what you actually wanted. So here's something simple that you can start doing right now. When you start to feel that moment building, don't try to solve the conversation right away. Just create a small reset. Take a breath. Slow things down. Even say something like, let me think about that for a second. That one sentence can change everything. It gives you space, and it gives the other person space. And it lowers the intensity just enough for clarity to come back online. You're not avoiding the conversation. You're improving how to show up in it. And that small shift can completely change the outcome. If there's one thing to take away from today, it's this. When emotions go up, clarity goes down. But awareness creates space, and space creates better choices. So the next time you feel that moment building, pause. Because that pause is where better communication begins. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, you're doing better than you think.